let's go in here and open the parameters. For our last part, we want to create a title and labels, so like text that will appear here on the X and Y axis. We can go inside our master operator and create a new base. We can call it title and labels. We can go inside. We can create a text SOAP that we can call title. In the text parameter, we can write title for now, will be enough. And we connect it to an out. We can go up and connect this output to the merge here. So we can see what we are creating in real time. So we can go back here and we can start modifying the values. So we go to the title. We start modifying the size of the font. We go down, maybe something like 0.1. We modify the horizontal align to center. And then we can start adapting the position. So this should be in the center of the x-axis. So if the x-axis is 1.1, we can put like 0.55. And if like the y position, we want it a bit like above this limit, something like 1.1 or like 1.15. But now we also want these values to be dynamic and to depend on these values. So we can just take them, the parameters we created before, and we can take the x-axis size and drag it to the x position of the title. Now it's, of course, it's the full size, but we want in the middle, so we can divide by 2. And for the y-axis, we can take the y-axis size and drag it here to the y position. We can add maybe like something like plus 0.05 with 1.15, and this is done. Now let's create another one. So we create a text again, and we call it X label. And we can create a merge also, so they will be all together, and connect it to the merge. To the text, you can write X label for now. The size may be something like half of the title, 0.05, should work. And to transform, we can, like we did before, we can translate and on the x position using the x-axis size like before. Now maybe shouldn't be the full size, but we can check later how it looks like. And for the y size, maybe it should be like a bit below, no? So we can in the vertical align put bottom, wait, top. And then we can add maybe something like minus 0.1 and 0.05. We'll adapt this later also. Now for the y label, we can just copy paste and drag it here. We can call it y label. And here for the x-axis, actually we don't want anything. We can leave it at 0 for now, but we want to translate on the y. So we can drag the y-axis size here to be here. Now we have to rotate. That could be also optional in case, but for now let's rotate it for 90 degrees. So we can do here on the rotate, in the Z axis, we put 90. We go again to the vertical align. We'll try bottom. And on the X axis, we can reduce it a little bit, like 0.05, something like this. And also we want to call it Y label. So now let's start make all of these things we did controllable from our master operator. So we go here, go up, and go again customize component, and we can create a new page called title and labels. We can start with switching on and off all these things. So as we did in the other cases, we can add a transport, one here, one for each, one here. We can add 3 parameters. That would be a toggle, which will be the on-off button, let's say. We can call it title on, X label on, and Y label on. And we can go on the new page, and in the title, we can connect this title on into the uniform scale. The X label on here, the transform 2. We connect it to the uniform scale, and same for the Y label on in the uniform scale here, in the transform 3. We can put them on for now. And also we can put all these, can use as default value on all of them. Okay, now we can add other parameters here to control the position of the labels. So we can create 3 transform here, one for each, so one for the title, one for the X label, and one for the Y label, like this. So now what we did before, like here, was to add like a little bit here in the Y position of the title. We want this to be controllable from our master operator. So we can delete this, and then we can go to the master operator and customize component. And in the title and labels page, we can create like Y title position. Should be a float. And now in the transform, in this transform, we can connect the Y title position to the Y position here. Now, what will happen is that now it is based on the like the size of the Y axis, so it's 1.1 in this case. But then we can add more. Now, maybe we also want to go down. Let's just add something here that allows this. So in the range, we can modify the range here. In the range mean, we can add like -0.5, and range max maybe 1. Let's try. So I can go to the center and go up. Maybe it doesn't make much sense. It's more meaningful to do my -1 and 0.5. Like there's no reason to go too like much below, but you still can. And then come back to 0. Maybe like since before we put like plus 0.15, we can do like as default 0.15 also here. Actually, not sure it was 0.15, looks like too much. 0.05, I like this more. Now, this is the Y title position. Now we want also the like X title position. So we can create a new one, create X title position. And we can connect it here to the tx. So we go here, x title position, and connect it to the tx. This. You can see what happens now. Oh, it only goes to the right because we have to modify the range. So we can do like -1 to 1. Let's try. And looks good. And we can come back to 0. Good. Okay. Now we can do the same for the labels. So first we can create all the parameters that we want. So will be one parameter for the x position for the x label, one for the y position. So the same for the y label. So will be 4 parameters in total. It's easier to do than to say. So let's go back to our component editor. And one nice thing we can do here, if we go to x label on, we can add a section. So we can separate title and labels. And we can also do one in y label on, so section on. Now we can create here in, or like on x label on, and we can create our parameters. So let's create the first one. That will be like x label, x position, then x label y position. Then we go below on the y label on, and we can create y label x position and one y label y position. Okay. Now let's assign all these values. So we go to the transform 5, which is like the x label position. We assign the x label x position to the tx, so like here. And let's see. So now we can assign the default values and the range. So in range, we can put something like -1 in range min, and range max something like 0.5. Let's test it. Oops, I am on the y label y position, so I'm messing up. So let's come back to the 0 here and come back to the x label x position, and we can modify the range from -0.5, actually no, -1 to 0.5. Now it should work. Okay, maybe it's too much, but that's fine. Now we can go to the x label y position, and we will assign it to the ty in transform 5. So x label y position, we go here and attach it here. So let's try. So maybe 1 is already a lot. We can do as range. So we go here to x label y position, and we can do like -0.5 is already a lot, but that's okay. And 1. Let's try. Okay. We can do better, but for now it's fine. Now let's take the transform 6, which is the y label position. We take from the master operator the y label x position. We take it and drag it to the ty, reference it. Let's test. Okay. So we go here on y label x position, and we can change the range again in -0.5 to 1. Okay. Let's go back to 0. And in y label y position, same thing. We assign it to ty. And as range, as usual, we can put from, say, -1 to 0.5. And come back to 0. Okay. The last thing, as you probably expect, is to make a button to restore all these values to the default values. So we can go here on while label position and add a section. Actually, we have to add the new button first. So let's create a restore. We can create a restore labels, and we call it, it's actually a pulse. And let's add it. And now we can add the section here. Now we create a parameter execute. Like we did before, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can go up, go to Cartesian axis, just in here, and we can take all this code. Mostly it's the on pulse and how we define the master operator. We can go up and then again to title and labels. We go inside, can clean a little bit as usual. And in onPulse here, we can copy paste. Now, what we need, as usual, we have to drag the master operator here in the ops parameter. And then in parameters, we need to specify the restore parameter we just created. So we can copy this restore labels, put it here. Here we go. We need to modify the name of the page. We now have Cartesian axis. We want title and labels. So we can copy, we can write it here, title and labels. And to be sure, we can use textport.dat. So we have the Python output. And then we can use this. And it works already. So let's do another test. I put this off. Actually, we can also check what it looks like. We change these, modify some stuffs randomly. Let's try now, and it's all back. Good. Okay, before finishing this section, I want to correct one little thing here in the ticks. So I realized that if we want to have ticks like these that are not exactly starting from 0 and ending to the end of the axe, we need a lot of more work and can be a bit complicated for now, and I will add it in the next section. For now, I want to keep things simpler. So to correct this, we can go inside ticks, and here we have our operators. We go to this math 1 and 2, and we open. We can also go inside here to check what is happening. And I want to set the range of both of them from 0 to the length of the axe itself. So we can put 0 here and drop this minus 0.1. So you see here that now the ticks correspond exactly to the origin, and the first one is in the origin and the last one is at the end. To make this flexible, it's a lot more work, and we'll do in the next step. We do the same in the math2, which is the y axis. So we put 0 here, and here we drop the minus 0.1, like this. In the next section, we also take care of the values. For now, this is okay. And we can come back, and this is it. One last thing, like to complete this Cartesian axis section, I want to clean a bit what we have done so far. So we can go to the Scatterplot here, to the master operator, and we can clean a bit all the pages we have. So for this, we can go right-click here and go to Customize Component. We can put this here and check the result on the left. So I want here to have, so let's go to the Cartesian axis page, which is this one. And I want to add here, like we did in this case, like some sections and also headers. So for this, we can have a first section with this, which will be the length of the axis. So we can add here a header, which is here, and we can call it like axis length, this, and we can add it here. So now we put it at the top, and we can call it read only screen also section. Then we can go on the like on and off parameters. So we can click on the first one of these two, is x, like xx on, and we can add another header here, and we can put like also like on, off, like this, on off axis maybe. We can add it here. Actually, we move it one more up, and we can add section and read only. It's okay. And we can add one other here. So we go to the restore axis values. We add the header, and we can call it like restore axis values. Same. We can add. We can put it at the top, and as label we can call it just restore, or maybe restore values. That's up to you as you prefer. And we can add the section and read only. If you want, you can do the same for the ticks or on your own, or you can follow me. So I will do first the on off like we did before. So we go to the ticks page. We add an on off ticks like we did before for the Cartesian axis, and we add, and we put it at the top, and read only section here doesn't really matter. Then we go to number of ticks. We add another header like n ticks, could be good one, or it can be like number of ticks. I guess we put it up, and maybe we can add a section here, and maybe we can call this number of ticks just n. So we have the number of ticks, and that's the value here. And then here we go to the restore, the last one, and we create another header. We call it restore ticks values. You can choose your own. Add parameter. Go up. It's always my mistake. And then read only section. Okay. We can go to the title and labels. We can add some headers here. You can skip if you don't like. We can add a header here, like title position, and we can put it at the top like this. We can go to the X title position, which is this last one. We can add header and call this oh wait, it's my mistake. So this is title. The first header is just about the title, so we can call it just title. Yes, that makes more sense. Then we go to the second one, so we go to X label on, one up, X title position, add the header as X axis, maybe labels, par, and we can add the section like this. I add the section here, which we don't want anymore, so like this. So we can go now to this one, X label Y position, X label Y position. We add another header, which will be like Y X labels. Add parameter. So we add the section and read only, and we can go to this Y label on and drop the section like this. And here we go. This is good enough. We can add the last one here. So we're going to go to Y label Y position, add like restore labels. Let's call it labels values. And the header, add a section. We drop this section here in the restore labels. And also I noticed there's a little mistake here. I put in y label, y position. Here it's read only, but it's not supposed to be. And now it's all ready. So it's all ready and clean, and we can start doing the fun stuff. Okay, so I will go up as usual, here, and come back to network editor, up,